Welcome to van build number 43. If you are new to our channel, I am Sarah. Me and my husband Alex own custom crafted vans where we build luxury custom camper vans for our clients. So this is the 43rd one we have done. This is a 2023 all-wheel drive 144 Mercedes Sprinter with our mini beach house plan. As I mentioned, we build custom, so everything in this van is custom to what the client wanted, all the paint colors and the finishes. And I think I might nickname this one the brightest and whitest van you've ever seen. And maybe the tallest too. If you're looking for more details about how you can get a custom van built by us, there'll be a link down below, but let's go inside and look at all the pretty things, and then Alex will talk about all the exterior things on this van, because there's a lot on this one. So let's go inside first. So as I mentioned, this is our mini beach house floor plan, which does include a full wet bath, a convertible dinette space in the rear, overhead storage all throughout, and then a galley kitchen. This is great for two people if you want to be small and nimble and maybe go back roading or off the beaten path in your van. So up front, we do have our headliner shelf, which is great for storing all of your window covers. And we did actually add an additional table up here. The passenger seat swivels around, so you kind of have a workstation at the front of the van, and this is removable, and you would just store this table up in the headliner shelf as well. So if you're curious where we are in Boise, Idaho, and it is cold today, so I'm keeping my jacket on. We work with clients all over the country. This client is actually in Maryland, and we haven't met them yet, which is kind of cool. A lot of the time we do a lot of this stuff remote, go back and forth, have everything 3D rendered so you can see exactly how your van's gonna look. We have design and finish options that you can go through, and then you can kind of just choose everything without even necessarily coming to Idaho. They are flying out tomorrow to pick this thing up and drive it back home. Anyway, back to the van. So next up, we have a wet bath here. This is actually a different style toilet than we have done before. They wanted to have a black water tank for this van. They also have a boat, so they're very used to this style of toilet, but we have kind of our standard wet bath here where we include the shower and the toilet together, and with a Nautilus shower door on the outside to just keep everything waterproof and contained, because you don't want to have mold or water issues down the line in your van. I think it turned out great. There is a switch out here for the toilet system to be able to flush it. Next up is the kitchen. As I mentioned, everything is bright and white. They wanted white counters, white cabinets, pretty much white everywhere except for the ceiling. We have a nice deep stainless steel sink with this faucet. One of the great things about this is you can actually use it outside with the hose. They have a little bit of storage, a 65-liter isotherm fridge. We also have nice dovetail style drawers here. So as you'll notice, there's no built-in cooktop. And that's because we're in the 144 Mercedes Sprinter. And if you built in a cooktop, you wouldn't have any real counter space. They do have a small counter on the driver's side. Most of our clients opt to not do a built-in, and that way they can store their induction in the drawer, pull it out when they need it, plug it in, use it, and then put everything away. And then that way they don't have to take up this precious countertop space, because realistically, if you know you're not going to be cooking 3 meals a day in your van, then maybe not doing a built-in is a smart choice. On the driver's side, we do have a microwave, so that would be easy cooking for them. That we found an under cabinet mounted one because, again, we're in the 144 wheelbase, so space is a little bit more precious in this layout. Next up, let's talk a little bit about climate control. So we do have a vent fan in the forward of the van, and then in the rear we have the Dometic RTX 2000 12-volt air conditioner. We do have a T-vent window on the passenger sliding door and 2 bunk windows in the rear that also open. And then we have an S-bar diesel heater that is located underneath the passenger seat. And you'll see the switch down here at the end of the kitchen. This controls the S-bar, so it just has a thermostat that you set, and then it heats up very quickly. We have our water pump switch, and then this controls the main lights along the ceiling, which are on a dimmer. And then this one last switch outside the bathroom controls the bathroom light, which is also on a dimmer. Now moving to the back of the van, we do have our convertible table bed area back here with the lagoon mount and a bamboo table. So this converts at night to be about a queen size bed. And we do also have a dresser back here for storage. So there's 3 good sized drawers for extra storage. As I mentioned, they do have their microwave back here as well, and then the upper cabinets on both sides for even more storage. So that's kind of it for the inside. Now we'll head outside because there's a lot to talk about on the outside of this van.
Since this is a 144, I think there is more on the outside of this van than there actually is inside this van. So this is going to take us a minute, but let's start down low. So you'll notice we have aftermarket wheels and tires. These are the Owl Van Talon wheels in the matte black, which are really nice. They have Illumines features on the outside except for the rear box, which is the Owl Vans box. So they have the new Illumines running boards, which I really like because instead of their old kind of round aluminum pipe steps, this is actually more of a flat step. Really well constructed. We really like the installation process on this one. We did our full truck bed treatment on the lower portion of the van and the front bumper and the rear bumper. We also did it on the roof, but we did it in a color match, so it's actually painted white for rust prevention on the roof. On the roof, this is the Illumines Explorer roof rack, which is one of their newer roof rack models. And what's really cool about it is it has the lights, the Baja designs integrated into the roof rack. So the mounts are actually welded as a part of the roof rack. So it has 2 on this passenger side, 2 in the rear, and 2 lights on the driver's side. And the really cool feature here is on the front of the van because it actually incorporates the mount for the Baja Designs 50-inch light bar as well. And on the front, we've got more features. So we have the Owl Vans front bumper with the winch. We have 2 LP9s from Baja Designs. These do have a running light function, which is really cool. And then why not add more lights? So this client also has the hood line mounts from Van Compass with the kind of the wide angle Baja design lights mounted there. For the suspension, we use the Van Compass 4.3 suspension kit. So what that means is we have the aftermarket shocks on the front from Falcon, aftermarket adjustable shocks on the back, and the Add-A-Pack added onto the rear leaf spring here to give it a little bit of an extra lift after we added all of that weight inside. Now, the big thing here, literally the big thing that you see on the outside of this van are these 2 Yakima boxes. So because they don't have a lot of storage space inside the van, he plans on hauling and taking recovery gear with him. His concept was to have one box that has clean stuff in it and one box that has dirty stuff in it. So he has these 2 massive Yakima boxes up top. If you're wondering, the total clearance height of this vehicle is 11 feet 5 inches. So they're still under 12 feet, but it definitely is a taller van. On the back from Illumines, we have their 2 rear door mounts. We have the rear door ladder spare tire carrier mount on the driver's side, and on the passenger side, we have the Illumines base mount with this really nice Owl Vans box that we love on the back. This is the Owl Vans air compressor kit. So there's an air compressor hookup here on the back on this custom mount that we made right next to our shore power plug. So they have an ARB air compressor mount here on the back. They also have another one on the front. Obviously with these Owl Van Talon wheels, what's really cool about them is it has a secondary nozzle so that you can quickly deflate the air pressure if you're going off-road. And then he's got the whole onboard air compressor system from ARB with the Owl Vans kind of integration kit so that he can then inflate his tires after he gets back onto the paved roads. The only ladder that we have on the outside is this rear ladder. So to get up and access the boxes, he can climb up the back. He's got a space right there. The box is actually open from the middle out, so he can stand in between both boxes and open them up and get his stuff out. We also have 200 watts of solar on the roof as well, and a Winegard Wi-Fi cell phone booster for connectivity when they are off-road. So now we're gonna open up these back doors and show you the inside. Spoiler alert, it's white back here too. So as we open up the rear, we've got a few extra features here. Our outdoor shower is mounted here on the driver's side. This bench is our plumbing system. They have 33 gallons of fresh water, a 2.5 gallon, 110 volt water heater. Yeah, on the passenger side, they have 540 amp hours of lithium battery from Battleborn batteries, and then a full Victron system from there with the 3000 watt inverter charger. We've got 60 amps of alternator charging. We go inside this cabinet, we have their water fill. This is your first van tour of ours, and you may not know, but we hate cutting unnecessary holes in the outside of a van that over time are going to leak and just look like crap. So we do our water fill system here through the rear, what we call our used storage bench. So that can just go tuck right back in there, close this system up. That way, when you're also connecting, reconnecting, disconnecting your fill hose, you're not gonna be spilling water inside the van. You'll have plenty of hose that it can leak out here. Sara talked about this toilet system briefly. Now, I love having consult calls, and if you want to have one with me and talk about your potential van build, there is a link down below in the comments, or you can check out our website at customcraftedvans.com and book a consult call with me directly there. But on this consult call, Sara mentioned they are boaters, and so they were used to a certain type of vacuum flush toilet system. So what we have in this van is actually a Dometic macerator toilet system. So the toilet has a built-in kind of blender slash pump that pumps the waste when you flush it to the holding tank. It can be up to 30 feet away. Now the holding tank is not 30 feet, but it is back underneath the van in the rear where the spare tire was, and we custom welded and powder coated a skid plate for that system. The holding tank is actually more of a boating style, marine style holding tank. It has a pump extraction system that drains the tank. So instead of a traditional gravity fed RV kind of black water tank system, on the back here, we have another custom welded bracket where we have the connection point for their discharge hose. And then we have a secondary waterproof switch next to this, which will drain, turn this pump on, and then pump out their holding tank, which you can see that the skid plate bracket mounted here underneath the rear. So it's actually a 30-gallon tank, which is awesome. They have almost as much capacity for Blackwater holding tank system as they do for their freshwater tank system. They have a separate 15-gallon holding tank for their shower and a separate 11-gallon holding tank for their sink. So those are both going into separate systems. The toilet feeds into its own holding tank system, and the other two tanks drain just by flipping a switch inside the van and draining the ball valve. So this was one of those things that I said, yes, we could do, and then we had to figure out how to do it. And I'm really happy with how this functionally turned out. And aesthetically, I think it looks great in the van with the toilet, and the way that the Blackwater tank system works, I think is really cool. One last thing that we have not mentioned on the outside of this van that we added was the 8-foot Dometic powered awning. Because when you have all of this, why not also have a powered awning? So hope you guys enjoyed this van tour. Like Sara said, this is custom van build number 43. We are very proud of how this one turned out. It is white, bright, and tall. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Again, we didn't pick the finishes, the clients did. So maybe you would have added color or wood tones. That'd be cool to hear. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.